Martin Tyler revealed while commentating during the recent Manchester derby that Manchester City had complained to Sky Sports that not enough of their recent club legends, besides Pablo Zabaleta, were asked to be pundits by the broadcaster. The club links of pundits has been a sore spot in times past too. Sir Alex Ferguson used to complain often about the gang of ex-Liverpool players, most notably Alan Hansen and Mark Lawrenson, who he felt gave his Manchester United side unfair criticism while letting their former club off lightly. But it's not just the opposition's old boys who rankle certain managers. Jose Mourinho's recent battles with the media have seen him take exception to comments from former United stars, including Paul Scholes. Such friendly fire suggests that having your former players behind the microphones offers no advantage or disadvantage to a club, but it guarantees that club will be talked about. The era of Hansen and Lawrenson is long gone, so which club now dominates the airwaves? Sportsmail looks at the regular pundits from the major British TV football rights holders and assesses the team, or teams, they best represent. Former Liverpool stars Mark Lawrenson, left, and Alan Hansen, right, once dominated the match of the day sofa, alongside Gary Lineker. But their era as leading TV pundits is now over. Both can be seen, back row, centre, celebrating Liverpool's 1986 title triumph. SKY SPORTSKey pundits: Gary Neville, Manchester United; Jamie Carragher, Liverpool; Graeme Souness, Liverpool / Middlesbrough; Jamie Redknapp, Liverpool / Tottenham; Alex Scott, Arsenal; Alan Smith, Arsenal / Leicester. For Monday Night Football, the gloves are off between Manchester United and Liverpool as Neville and Carragher regularly renew a rivalry from their playing days, albeit in a more light-hearted way inside a TV studio. Sky has a heavy Liverpool presence all round. Red stars from the 1980s and 1990s appear in the form of Souness, who also previously played nearly 200 games for Middlesbrough, and Redknapp. The latter can also be selected to bat for Tottenham given he is a former club captain, and his father Harry enjoyed a successful managerial career at White Hart Lane. New for this season is Alex Scott, who, after impressing with her punditry for ITV at the World Cup, has made a successful transition to the Premier League. Alongside her is another former Arsenal star in live commentary and part-time studio pundit Alan Smith, who can provide insight on the Gunners as well as Leicester, where he struck 76 league goals from 200 games in the 1980s. Jamie Carragher, left, and Gary Neville lead the analysis on Sky Sports Monday Night Football. They were not so pally on the pitch, playing for rivals Liverpool and Manchester United. Graeme Souness is Sky's most hard-hitting pundit, just like in his playing days at Liverpool. Manchester United midfielder Norman Whiteside receives one of Souness's crunching tackles. Arsenal and England legend Alex Scott, right, is a new addition to the Sky stable of pundits. Scott celebrates winning one of her 7 FA Cups with Arsenal, At Wembley in 2016, BT SPORTSKey pundits: Rio Ferdinand, Manchester United /West Ham; Paul Scholes, Manchester United; Chris Sutton, Norwich /Blackburn; Owen Hargreaves, Manchester United; Harry Redknapp, West Ham /Tottenham /Bournemouth /Portsmouth; Robbie Savage, Leicester /Derby; Michael Owen, Liverpool; Glenn Hoddle, Tottenham /Chelsea; Steve McManaman, Liverpool; Richard Dunn, Manchester City, with Premier League and Champions League games to juggle. There is a bigger pool of pundits on BT, but unlike Sky, they have gone top-heavy with Manchester United stars. Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes are often first choice for the broadcaster's biggest games and are always on hand for United matches. If that is not enough, then Hargreaves can offer a third wave of insight on the Red Devils. Ferdinand is also best placed to cover West Ham, having started his career at Upton Park, while Leicester have representation in the form of Savage. Liverpool insight comes from Owen and McManaman. The latter also had a brief stint at the end of his career with Manchester City, and in a dearth of pundits covering the champions is usually paired alongside former captain Richard Dunn when Pep Guardiola's men are on the box. Glenn Hoddle provides one of the biggest insights for Tottenham on the airwaves yet. His successful player/manager stint at Chelsea in the 1990s makes him a rare breed as a popular choice to cover games involving either side. Another former Spurs manager in Harry Redknapp is also a regular on the channel, although an ex-Chelsea striker. Sutton's best days in the Premier League were at Norwich and Blackburn. Former Man United teammates Rio Ferdinand, left, and Paul Scholes, centre, are on BT Sport. The duo celebrate a derby win over Manchester City during their days at Old Trafford. Former West Ham and Tottenham boss Harry Redknapp is another of BT's pundit. Redknapp appeals after a Sergio Ramos foul on Tottenham's Gareth Bale in 2011. BBC pundits: Alan Shearer, Newcastle /Blackburn /Southampton; Martin Keown, Arsenal /Everton /Aston Villa; Jermaine Janers, Tottenham /Newcastle; Danny Murphy, Liverpool /Fulham; Ian Wright, Arsenal /Crystal Palace; Phil Neville, Manchester United /Everton; Mark Lawrenson, Liverpool /Brighton; Dion Dublin, Aston Villa /Coventry; Eni Aluko, Chelsea. Interesting strategy at the BBC in their selection of pundits, whether it is by design or just coincidence. Unlike their rivals, almost the entire lineup consists of players who had prominent spells at multiple clubs. With just Premier League highlights to show, almost half the top flight can receive insight from a former player who has played over 100 matches for them. For instance, Alan Shearer is your man for everything Newcastle, but as the channel's main pundit he can also provide some insight on Southampton, having started his senior career there. The likes of Martin Keown, who also features often on BT Sport, Jermaine Janers, Phil Neville and Danny Murphy are also regulars opposite presenter Gary Lineker. Although Lawrenson had been a major pundit over the years, his appearances on the show have been scaled back in recently. A new addition to the punditry team at the World Cup saw Ine Aluko feature, and while her current Juventus commitments may have limited her BBC airtime since, she settled into the role just as comfortably as Alex Scott did at ITV. Newcastle legend Alan Shearer has taken over as Match of the Day's leading analyst. Shearer is Newcastle's greatest player and synonymous with the club, and Blackburn 2 Arsenal hero Ian Wright is another prominent voice on the BBC's football coverage. Wright celebrates scoring in the 1993 FA Cup final win over Sheffield Wednesday at Wembley. ITV key pundits: Roy Keane, Manchester United / Nottingham Forest; Lee Dixon, Arsenal; Ian Wright, Arsenal / Crystal Palace; Slaven Bilic, West Ham. It may be quite noticeable how few pundits there are on ITV compared to all their rivals, but then you also have to consider the lack of football the channel now shows. They have no domestic or European highlights from the major leagues and are reduced to just England's European Championship qualifiers for the rest of the season. The channel does, however, have pundits considered part of the ITV furniture, most notably Roy Keane, whose outspoken views make him a popular part of their coverage. Arsenal duo Wright, who also appears on MoTD, and Lee Dixon were also regulars as recently as the World Cup, and Slaven Bilic has also been a part of ITV's coverage of the most recent international tournaments. The outspoken Roy Keane hits just as hard as a pundit as he did in his days at Old Trafford. Keane puts his motor mouth to good use as he speaks to referee Graham Poll during a game final score. Liverpool still have the majority of key pundits on the books, but due to the rise of Sky and the sheer amount of live games now shown, the spread of pundits has become more even. It is no surprise perhaps that 4 of the big 6 clubs occupy the top 4 places, but it is also intriguing to see the last 3 Premier League champions only have roughly 2 regular faces appearing on our screens. And that is at best. No side has been more successful in the Premier League than Manchester City in this decade, yet the current champions only have one standout name among the pundits that can be considered a City expert. Maybe that will change once the years of success rack up at the Etihad Stadium, and the stars from these teams retire. But for now it's England's 2 most successful clubs historically that are best represented on the TV screen.